Happy Tuesday, everyone. It's time for another terrific Tuesday card. I know I wasn't here last week, but I was all ready to go until I started putting my card together and I realized that I was missing a set of dies that I wanted to use on the card. I thought I'd ordered them, but I guess never had. And I tried other things that I have in my stash, but I don't know, it just didn't look right. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to order the set of dies. And Stampin' Up! Shipping for us in Colorado is very, very quick. And I thought I'll have it in time and I'll get one next week. So my name is Sherry Minnie. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I live in Keensburg, Colorado, which is a small town about 45 minutes northeast of Denver. And today's card is featuring quite a bit of cutting, but not a whole lot of stamping. And purple is one of my most favorite colors, and the stamp suite and papers that we're using is absolutely wonderful, and I'm so hoping that it carries forward. So I just made a kind of a generic hello card, and in the inside I put sending love and best wishes. You could put any kind of greeting. It could be for any kind of occasion. I might make a couple of these to do as sympathy cards because I think they'd be really pretty. And of course there's our envelope. So let me show you what we're using today. One of the die sets that we're using is called Wonderful Thoughts. We're using this small hello right here. And as you can see, there's dies to cut out every one of these greetings. And I love this concept of doing it that way. And this little bitty one right here is the hello. And that's the one that we're going to be using when we get ready to cut out our sentiment. So this one we're using both the stamp set on the dies. The next one we are using is called Perennial Postage. This is a bundle, and I'm using the Sending Love and Best Wishes from the stamp set for the inside layer, and then for our focal point we are using, I believe it's this one. Let me double check the size. Yes. And we're using this one to cut out our designer series papers right there in the front. Okay. And that's all we're using out of that. I have to take the time to put these away, otherwise I end up losing something. Now we're going to use a couple of die sets. They are bundles, but we're not using the stamp set that goes along with it. The first one is the Painted Lavender. This one you can find in the mini catalog that is current right now and will be current until the end of April. We're going to be using just some of the foliage pieces. We'll be using this one, and and we're using this one. Okay, and that's all from that one. And then this one, this is the set that I thought I had last week, and come to find out I did not. It's called Dainty Delight, and I'm not using the matching stamp set. We're just using the dies, and we are going to be using this one here that kind of reminds me of a dandelion. I'm not sure, but I like it. Excuse me. And this is the one that I really had nothing in my stash that could come close to this, and I just didn't like anything else that I tried. So I just decided to put it off, and then we're using this one for all the little flower accents that I'm using, and I think that's it for out of that one too. Okay. For our ink color, we're only using Memento Black. That's the only color we're using, and like I said, there's a minimal stamping. We will be using linen thread for a little bow, and we are also using these beautiful purple gems. They're called Purple Fine Shimmer Gems, and these again are in the mini catalog, and we're going to be using probably this middle color right here. Okay, and I think that's it. I have the inside greeting on a Stamparatus, and in your packet you will have quite a few pieces. But I've already done most of the die cutting. You'll have your envelope. You will have a card base of crumb cake, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. You will have a piece of basic white This is 3 3/4 by 5. And I can already see that I left a piece, so I'm going to run over next door and grab it real quick, and I'll be right back. Okay, so the piece I was missing, you'll have a piece of fresh freesia. This is 4 by 5 1/4, and that's going to have your inside layer mounted on it. And I need to get back in the frame, sorry. You'll have a piece of Gorgeous Grape, and this one measures 4 by 5 1/4, and then you'll have a piece of Highland Heather, and this one measures 3 7/8 by 5 1/8, and this one is going to be run through an embossing folder, and I don't think I brought it with me. It can be any embossing folder that you like. I happen to use some kind of brick pattern. Okay, and these are actually going to go up here. You'll see that I did, by mistake, I actually embossed this one, and I thought, no, that's not the one I want. I want this one. So I just left them both. Actually, I had them put them together, and I just ran them through. Okay, and then you'll have a scrap piece of fresh freesia, a scrap piece of basic white, a scrap piece of pretty peacock, Gorgeous Grape, and Highland Heather. And these are going to be all used for our leaf foliage and all of that. Then you'll have, you're going to have 3 different little pieces of designer series paper. This happens to be the, let's see, what is this called? Perennial Lavender. It's got lots of purples. So you just need 3 different patterns. You can choose whichever one you want. And you'll need a scrap piece that is about 1 3/4 by 2 1/2. And then you would take this die, or you will have this die. This is a card that we'll be doing in our classes in March, and they will be run through this little die right here. Okay. And then you'll have a piece to decorate the inside. This is about 5/8 by, this is probably 6, but it doesn't need to be that long. And you'll have a pretty little bow for your front. Okay. So to start off with, I'm going to just show you. You will have in your Gorgeous Grape piece, I'm going to show you what all we're cutting out on these little scraps here. Okay. So on, oops, I didn't bring over enough of a basic white. But anyway, you'll have a larger piece of basic white than this. Well, actually, I guess that works. And this is where you're going to cut out this die, and you will end up with something that looks like this. Isn't it pretty? I like that. And then for the Gorgeous Grape, you have this foliage. For the pretty peacock, you have this foliage. And, oh man, let me see. I forgot to pull one die. Thought I had. Pull. You're going to use this little kind of daisy-like flower. And that's going to be in the fresh freesia. And then in the Highland Heather, you're going to have, oh, I'm sorry, that's the wrong one. These are actually, they cut out 3 little flowers together, and that's going to be right there on that. And when you get done, you have things that look like this. One that looks like this. These are all cut apart. Well, you'll have one that looks like this. And then you'll have 3 individual little flowers that come from this one here. Okay, so that's everything that we need. I'm going to get these dies put in a place where it'll be safe. As safe as it can be for me. And then we will proceed with our little bit of stamping and our putting together. Okay. First of all, we're going to do the little bit of stamping that we have to do, and we're going to do a hello, And I'm going to do this one in black. And then you take this die. Now this die, they just barely fit around the word. There's no white border or anything like that. It's a very tight fit, which I like. That way you know exactly how much space you're taking up. So it would go on there something very similar to that. And when you're done with it, you run it through your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And this one I realized I had stamped in Gorgeous Grape. Doesn't really matter. It'll look the same. And then you get this very nice cutout of the sentiment. Okay. Then for our inside piece, as I said, I have it on our Stamparatus, which I haven't used for a while. And we will put our paper in here, making sure that you realize the orientation goes this way, not up and down. I learned that the hard way. Then we will take our Memento Black. We will ink up our sentiment. I have to apologize. I know sometimes when I'm inking and so forth, the table shakes, but I'm on just one of those little plastic 4-foot tables, and it's not the sturdiest. It's the only thing I have to fit in my office here where I do my filming. Okay, there we go. And that's it for the stamping. So I think we'll finish our inside. We're going to take our pretty piece of designer series paper, and hopefully we'll find yes, I don't have a little one, so I'll use this bigger one. I think I can make it work. And we'll just put some glue along the bottom of our inside piece. Make sure that we have the orientation right on this piece, and I'm just going to leave a little bit of a white border along the bottom. And then I'm going to take not the biggest flower, but the other two. The biggest flower will be on the front. This will be on the, just to decorate the inside. They're already cut, so I figured might as well go ahead and use them. And I will take my tweezers, and I will put a little bit of glue on that one. Kind of stick it up here in the corner and do this. You can put this wherever you want. You can put it, it might be pretty around the words too, but I don't know, I just had them in the corner. And then stick this one right there. And then we will trim off our bottom piece here. Oops, look at there, I've almost lost a flower. Trim that off. And this little tiny sliver of a piece right there. Then we have our fresh freesia piece, and this is going to go on there. I'm just going to use my Stampin' Seal to put it on. This card's going to be take a little bit longer because there's so many pieces to it. But I think it's so pretty. It's one of my favorite cards. I have to give a big shout out to Sally Poole, who is a UK demonstrator, and I actually saw this card on her her blog, and I said, hey, that's perfect. I'm not even going to change a thing. I love it. Okay, and then we'll take this and we'll put it on the inside of our card. Okay. We have a beautiful, beautiful sunshiny day here. And my house faces west, and boy, do we have a gorgeous view of the mountains today. It's just so pretty. Okay, and now we're going to take our Gorgeous Grape and our Highland Heather, and I am going to use liquid glue because this piece is embossed, and I always like to be able to get the glue in all the little nooks and crannies, and it's a pretty small border that we're working with here. So, okay. And then we will put this down on the front. You can find this beautiful purple paper in the current mini catalog that goes from January to April. If anybody's interested, you can always order from my online store at sherrymini.stampinup.net, and my blog, this card and all the instructions will be on my blog, simplylovestampin.com, probably first thing later on this afternoon. And as always, if you have any questions, just reach out to me. My email is shuaddicted@gmail.com. Okay, now we have our, what are these? Our DSP pieces, and you can see I have put dimensionals on them. We're going to take the backs off, and then we'll be putting those on. So to put our pieces on the front, I don't eye them that well, making sure, I want them to be straight along the bottom here. And so rather than taking a chance on my eyeballs being able to judge that correctly, I am going to just line this up on my card base on my grid paper. And I know that I want these to be about 1 inch up from the bottom. So these are 1/4 inch squares. So one's going to go right there. I'm just going to put a little mark so I can eyeball it better, or put my ruler better. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then on this side, it'll be right here. Okay, and then I have a ruler that I am going to take and put along these lines that I've marked, making sure that they're very much, oh, I think I messed up here. 1, 2, 3, oh, I did, I need to go down one. I got that one too high. All right, so we're only 4. So there we go. Now we're going to take our backings off of our dimensionals, maybe. Okay, there's one more to go. All right. So I find it easier to line up the outside ones before I do the one in the middle. That way I can judge how much space to have on the one in the middle. So we're going to start with our ones on the ends, making sure that our orientation is correct. And I just moved it in probably maybe 1/8, not a whole 1/4, okay? And then the other one, we'll do the same thing and try to keep the distance as close as you can, lining up the bottom against the bottom of my ruler, putting it down. And then the one in the middle, I'm going to just kind of eyeball it and try to get the distance the same. I don't think that's too bad. Okay, there we go. So the ruler really does help unless you've got a really good eye, and I don't have that great of an eye anymore. Okay, so now we're going to put this little collage together here in the front. So I'm going to take my longest one, which is in the Gorgeous Grape, and I'm just going to put a little bit of glue. I hope I am anyway. This glue is just about out. Kind of, not all the way down because it does stick over it a little bit, but just kind of like so, and I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it kind of over and like that. We can always put a little bit more glue on here if we think we need to, but I think we're okay. Okay, and then the next one is going to be our little white one. And it's going to kind of swing along like this. So I'll put glue on the top and down halfway down the stem. So again, just a little bit. We don't need much. This green glue, as I've said over and over and over, just a little bit goes a very long, long way. Okay? And then we will take this and kind of put it, I think about right there would be fine. Okay, and then the last one is our pretty peacock one. And this one is just going to kind of go like so. You just put these together however it's appealing to your eye. Our eyes don't all see the same thing in the same way. Okay, and then you have the little tiny, I don't know, I'd say this is a daisy. I'm not sure. Coneflower maybe? Oops. Again, just a little bit of glue. Kind of put this in the center here. And then we have this one last flower. It's a little bit larger. Put some glue on the back of that. And just kind of put this wherever you feel looks good. Okay. I think we're pretty good there. I don't think I need any more glue. Now the only other thing we have left is our itty bitty hello. And I did put some mini dimensionals, one of which I cut in half on the back of this to get it to pop up. And I will take my tweezers and put this wherever you wish. I put mine kind of like that. Okay, now the only other thing we need to do is attach our bow and put on our pretty gems. Okay, and I think I'm going to use, I've been using this one right here. You have 3 different shades here of the purples. This has got a little more of a reddish purple. I love these bottom ones. And I'm going to stick that right there in the middle. And then for our bow, we will take a glue dot and we will roll this up because the what am I trying to say here? The linen thread is not very, it's very fine, and so a whole dimensional would really stick out around it. And I'm going to put that like, you can put it wherever you want, but I think I'm going to stick it there. And then we will just take our bow. And I guess I'm going to, I left these long. I kind of like the curls. You see I left them all long. But this one seems really long, so I think I'm going to cut this one. The curls come from the being wrapped around the spool. And you can straighten them out totally by just running your bone folder down the thread. And that'll take care of it. Okay, there's that. And I think we've got that all done. And now all we have to do Oh, and I guess I didn't. Did I bring it over? I thought I did, but maybe I did. Oh, yeah. Nope. Let me see if I have one in the bottom of my. Oh, no, I do not. That's okay. You all know. So you'll in your kit when you come, you'll have a piece of designer series paper of some pattern, and we'll just take it and glue it onto the back of here like we've done so many times before in class. So that's it today. For this card. I really like it. Again, thank you to Sally Poole because I loved her card and I just copied it. So here we go. Here's the one we just completed. And here's the one that I did earlier. So thank you for spending time to watch this. I know it's a little bit longer than I like to keep my videos, but there were a lot of pieces to this one. So God bless each and every one of you, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day or evening whenever you're watching this video. And again, I can't tell you how thankful I am that you would even consider spending this amount of time watching my videos. Again, God bless each and every one of you, and I will see you real soon.